2024 has begun in a very similar way as to how 2023 began for Indian chess. Superstars are dominating at all stages of the tournaments, whether it's local or whether it's worldwide. During the Chess World Cup, D. Gukesh had for a brief moment toppled Vishwanathan Anand's reign as the #1 ranked India chess player. It was there only for a brief moment before the World Cup ended. But now at the start of 2024, during the Tata Steel chess tournament in Vaikansi, Ramesh Babu Praggnanandhaa has made it as India's #1 ranked chess player. It is a big achievement indeed, and it comes on the sidelines of another momentous achievement that he had achieved at Vaikansi. Praggnanandhaa defeated world champion and the current reigning world champion Ding Liren in a classical chess format event. Now, because he had beaten Ding Liren, and it was not for the first time, earlier in Vaikansi in the Tata Steel chess tournament, Praggnanandhaa had beaten Ding Liren earlier before he had become the world champion. But now this achievement is far more better than the rest, because remember, this year is the candidates as well as the world championship. Beating the world champion, Praggnanandhaa has already given the signal of intent. Remember, he was the first Indian to qualify for the candidates after getting into the final of the Chess World Cup. Then Vidit Gujarati came after winning the Isle of Man tournament, and then Gukesh finished high in the FIDE circuit. That's why he went through. But now, you would all want to understand, right, what is the current state with Praggnanandhaa? This is the situation. Currently, Praggnanandhaa now has 2,748.3 ELO points, which is more than just about 0.3 points higher than Vishwanathan Anand. These are the live ELO ratings after the end of each and every match. So remember, if Praggnanandhaa loses or draws in the next game, it will come lower. But now he has gotten those points because he beat Ding Liren. Look at the points jump that he's got, plus 5.3. And it is this particular instance where I'm going to highlight in this particular video. How is the complicated ELO system, how does it work in chess? Now remember, it is a very complicated equation, but I have managed to break it down and tell it to you in simpler terms. How is the ELO calculated? There are basically two aspects to it. But before I come to this complex equation, let me tell you the massive feat of Praggnanandhaa, because remember, he becomes the India #1 by beating world champion Ding Liren. For the second time he's beaten in the Tata Steel tournament. Second time he's beaten him, and Tata Steel is the ideal build-up for the candidates. Remember, in April 2 to April 25, 2024, the candidates will be held. And Gukesh, prior to Praggnanandhaa, Gukesh was your #1 India ranked player. But because he couldn't sustain his good run, he fell flat, and that's why he fell below in the ELO rating. Now, how is the ELO rating calculated? Remember, it is on a per game basis. After that, the cumulative number of points that you have got, it depends on which players you play. Suppose you are ranked 2,700, your total number of points is 2,700. You've beaten a player over you who's 2,750, 2,780, 2,800, 2,850, you will get more ELO points. So, the simple fundamental of an ELO rating is, the more you play top ranked opponents and beat them, the higher your ELO will surge. Now, what is this ELO rating that we are all been talking about and it's been there in chess for ages? Well, it's actually named after a person. ELO rating is named after Arpad ELO, a Hungarian American maths and physics professor. He was very good in chess, and he had proposed this kind of rating so that it ensures that it is incremental and it also helps the players in a big way. Arpad ELO was actually a very good chess player. Consider this fact, in the 60s and the 70s, he troubled a certain legend called Bobby Fischer. He was that good in it. But he didn't want to pursue a career in chess that often. He was content with his maths and physics lectures, and that's why he decided to stay away from chess, but proposed this ELO rating, his point system after Arpad ELO. Now, at the bottom I have said 2800 ELO points. Now, 2800 ELO is considered to be the ultimate benchmark when you talk about chess success. It's like an average of 100 in tests. When you talk about cricket, that is the benchmark of greatness. For chess, 2800 ELO points is considered the ultimate benchmark of success. That's why you see Magnus Carlsen and Fabiano Caruana, 2800, they have been over there consistently. That is why they are one of the best in the business at this point. But this is the original equation of how you calculate the ELO. ELO is represented by RA, that is your new rating point, equals RA minus the apostrophe, which is your old rating, plus K, which is a value determined by SA minus EA. EA is expected outcome, SA is actual outcome. Okay. Now, SA and EA is calculated by this complicated formula. I am not going to get into the formula at all, but I will present you an example of how you can calculate the ELO. So, just this is the formula of ELO, how it is calculated. It's a very, very tough mathematical formula. Thank God chess.com and its algorithms calculate the ELO in this way. Otherwise, for us, it would have taken us months to calculate it, because it's all on probability, it is all on all the other incremental values that is there. Now, points are given, it's in a very simplistic layman terms how it is calculated. Points are given according to ELO ratings of both the players who play. Now, I have presented a situation here. Suppose two players, one player is 2700 ELO and the other is 2300 ELO. They are playing. Okay. Now, this is the calculation. You are basing it on a probability. The highest probability is 1. Why? Because 1 gives you a point for a win. 1 point you get for a win, 0.5 you get for a draw, no points for a loss. 1. Now, the probability is calculated by the fact that, okay, a 2700 ELO guy will have a higher chances of qualification, a higher chance of winning. So, the probability is calculated to be, for example, 0.92. For the guy with 2300 ELO, his chances are 0.08, because obviously 0.92 plus 0.08 will give you 1. So, that is the probable equation that is coming out of it. But now, this will be the clincher, the first point. Supposing 2300 wins against 2700, 1 minus 0.08, 2300 will get 0.92 points. That is the formula. Now, the surge that a 2300 ELO rating guy will get out of a win against 2700 is huge. This was just one part of it. One part is the probability factor. K factor in calculation in case of over 2500 rating. So, K factor in a tournament, the K factor is 10. For players over 2500 rating, it is 10. So, zero sum game theory. Example, if a player gains 5 points, then the losing player also loses 5 points. That is the situation that is there. It depends whether it is exact. Now, in the case of Ding, if you look at it, he lost 3.6 points. So, that was because 2743 to 2776 with a K factor which was close to 10, and the probability was not that great, which meant he lost only 3.6 ELO points. Praggnanandhaa gained 5.3 because he beat 2776 rating. So, in very simple terms, K expected outcome minus the actual outcome. So, 1 is the key here, 1 probability into the K factor. So, that is how you go about in this particular way. So, in a very simplistic term, I have tried to explain ELO. Of course, good luck in figuring out the formula. Good luck in trying to figure it out, because this is the same situation that arises with Duckworth-Lewis when you have to calculate it in cricket. The formula is pretty complicated, and that is why, thank goodness, ELO will at least be giving us a lot of sleepless nights in the coming days. But right as of now, as we speak, Praggnanandhaa is one of the best players in the world currently for India. He is now the #1 ranked Indian player, And because of this, he heads into the candidates high on confidence. Remember, in the Chess World Cup, he had beaten Caruana, he had beaten, even if you look at it, Jan Nepomniachtchi. But now, he's also beaten Dinglish, which means in the candidates, in order of, you may say, favorites, Praggnanandhaa, Vidit and Gukesh. That's the order according to which I would say they are favorites to go into the final and win the candidates. Remember, the classification is that now this Tata Steel tournament is the ideal build-up for the candidates in Toronto. If either of Vidit, Praggnanandhaa or Gukesh make it to the final and win the candidates, then they will challenge Dinglish for the final that will happen later in the year. So it's a great start for 2024 when you look at Indian chess. It ended with 5 out of the 16 Indians, both male and women, entering into the candidates for the first time in history. Now at Vaikanzi in the Tata Steel chess tournament, you are seeing Praggnanandhaa become the number 1, and it is only the start of something very, very special. April will be the key. April 2024 will be a key month for chess when it comes to India. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Bye-bye.